Hello and welcome to the Freedom Zone, where the truth is set free, whether you like it or not. I'm your host Candace, and I'm here to talk with you about a few things that went on this week. The first thing we'd like to talk about is the Hurricane Dorian. Our hearts and thoughts go out to all the people in the Bahamas and the surrounding area that have been affected by this hurricane, and the people who could be affected this week. North and South Carolina is kind of targeted by it. It's gone back up to a Category 3, and so there's possibility for a lot of damage. They said there might be about a foot of rain, which is never something that's easy to deal with. We hope that you have a quick recovery and that you get all the help you need to return your lives back to normal. Presidential candidate Marianne Williams says that we should use our minds to direct the storm where we want it to go, because Dorian's been kind of a loose cannon, not sure if it's going left, right, up, down, whatever. So now, all together, I want us all to think real hard. Think real hard. Think real hard. Get the hurricane away from the North and South Carolina coast. Is everybody thinking? Real hard. Okay, I'm not making fun exactly. I believe in the power of positive thought, and I believe that your words have power, and if you say, things are going to happen, then they will happen most of the time, rather than if you say things won't happen, or if you're negative, you'll give yourself a self-fulfilling prophecy that it won't happen. So whereas I'm making fun of what she said, at the same time I believe that your mind is pretty strong. I don't think that maybe we could divert a hurricane, but we could make things go in our favor when we want to make them happen. You have to think positive. I'm going to do this. This is going to happen. I'm going to succeed in that. Those kind of things are the kind of words that have power. I believe that everything will go well. I believe that I can do this. That I believe in. The Marianne Williams variety, maybe not so much, but I do believe in the power of your mind. I believe in the power of prayer, even though a lot of people say that they don't. I do. I know it's worked for me. It's worked for others. So God bless everyone in the path of the storm, and hopefully the Lord will take it out into the sea and it won't hurt anybody. And this was a Labor Day weekend. I hope you guys had a really great time. I had a nice weekend. Unfortunately, I did not get to Boston for the Straight Pride Parade last Saturday. I don't know if any of you did, but it was a pretty good-sized parade. Probably there's more protesters than there were people participating in the parade, because it was Straight Pride, and this somehow offended the LGBTQ community. There was 36 arrests. Some of these people were known to be Antifas. So in their infinite wisdom, AOC plus 3, the 4 pissants of the apocalypse, have decided to help out and raise money for bail for these people who got in trouble for accosting cops and such like on Saturday. Now, I don't understand why it's a problem for somebody to have a parade and you're not included. I mean, is this like if somebody has a birthday party and you didn't get invited, you're going to crash their birthday party and make everybody miserable just because you didn't get invited? If somebody had gone out during the Gay Pride Parade and said, boo, that would have been a horrible, hate-filled boo, and everybody should have been, shot and everything like that. It gets really old. I'm back to my old opinion of these are attention whores. They've just got to have attention. There were 9 counter-protested arrested that had been charged with assaulting police officers out of the 36. Ocasio-Cortez and Presley both tweeted out a link to the crowdsourcing page called, quote, the Solidarity Against Hate Legal Defense Fund, which has raised nearly $25,000 to pay bail and other legal fees of those arrested while protesting the march. You can't get people to donate to do wonderful arts things, yet they can donate for the bail for people who assault our friends, the police officers, who try to keep us safe most all the time. She and her friend Alyssa came up with the one way to support the local LGBTQ community impacted by Boston's white supremacist parade. Now, are you telling me there wasn't a single person of color in this parade that was proud to be straight? She tweeted out, Ocasio-Cortez tweeted out, that contribute to the bail fund for the activists who put themselves on the line protecting the Boston community. Presley slammed the quote-unquote straight pride event as an LGBT hate march. I don't understand why we can't have our events. I'm straight, heterosexual. I don't run down the street or wear a t-shirt about it. But let me tell you, if we've got just as much right to have a parade as the next group, the dog lovers group, the cat lovers group, the I see UFOs and dead people group, any of these people that want to have a parade, as far as I'm concerned, they've got a right to do it. I don't think that just because it's a straight parade, it becomes a white supremacist and a hate march. At least some of these counter-protesters were identified as Antifa, the controversial far-left group. They say, we're covered in black so that when we attack these guys, we can't be prosecuted. John Crowley, a self-identified Antifa member, told the Boston Herald while at Saturday's parade. He added that he believes violence is the only way to deal with the straight pride marchers, saying, they are fascist, 100%. How else are you going to get them to shut up? Why don't you just not listen and go away? Because they didn't ask you to come. They didn't ask you to listen to whatever they're doing. They were having their own event. They didn't say, please come so you can disagree with me. As I said before, if someone showed up to a gay pride event and said boo, then that would be just the most horrible thing ever. But these people feel like they're obligated to come and protest because these people are straight. That's ridiculous. A Massachusetts state senator, Dean Tran, who represents Fitchburg, Massachusetts, tweeted Monday, it is time, federal, state, and local, to make it illegal to cover your faces in public events and demonstrations. A danger to public safety and our police officers. No one or group is above the law. And that is absolutely true. No one or group is above the law. It's absolutely ridiculous that anything that's said against the AOC plus 3 is racist, white supremacist. Anything that's against the LGBT community is racist, white supremacist, fascist, whatever. Antifa is a fascist group. They can say anti, which means against, but it's still a fascist group because they want to squelch people's thoughts and words and deeds. And that's just absolutely unacceptable to me. I don't think you should be in danger if you want to go out and protest something. You want to get your sign, you want to say, hey, save the bees, save the whales, whatever. Whatever your protest is, you should not have to worry about your life or being assaulted. Like the poor reporter that was assaulted out on the West Coast because he was just simply covering an event, and it ended up he had a brain bleed because they beat him so hard for no good reason. He was just covering the event and it was thought to be conservative. This gets old, and it's anarchy, and it is fascism, and the ones that say they're quote-unquote against it, they're the ones that are perpetrating it, and it gets really, really old, and people need to stand up for this. We all have a right to our opinion, and that's the First Amendment right, so we need to stand up and stop this. But bringing up, other than Alyssa and AOC, we have Ilhan Omar, who loves to lecture on how America is just so much, it's so hard for her to live here because we're so evil, blah, blah, blah. And she's an adulterous son of a gun. So what happened with her is her personal life is beginning to sour. Last week we talked about her adulterous affair with the man in the picture there. His wife brought it out. And her campaign money scandal, where she had spent money traveling with this man to continue her affair. Now, her legal husband, Ahmed Hirsi, is in the news because she had asked him to file for divorce because she didn't want to, and he told her to file it herself if she wanted to. He didn't want to do it. But now, even though they separated in March and she had asked him to file the papers and he said no, now he's decided that he will because he's changed his mind because of the Tim Manette wife filed last week's bombshell divorce papers claiming her spouse was having an affair with Ilhan Omar. Hershey is said to be angry because he's been made to look the fool by allegations of the extramarital affair. Yes, he has been made to look bad. I would be embarrassed. It would be awful for somebody to be carrying on in the public eye like that. And I don't blame the guy. Of course, her standard tactic, anytime someone criticizes her, is to attack them, call them racist, or simply dodge the question. According to her husband, her longtime partner, and father of her 3 children, he has said to her that he will not go to jail for her because she has filed some fraudulent IRS tax returns with the other person she was supposed to be married to. He has also said, and this is the person that she filed the fraudulent tax returns with, she did marry her brother for fraudulent purposes, and Hershey did not know at the time that she had married him. Omar has threatened Hershey if he would be in trouble along with her if the truth to come out, which I don't know if he will or not. She's asked her soon-to-be ex-husband to state publicly that all is well with their marriage, even though it's completely done and finished, and that in fact they are living apart and have been divorced under Islamic law, which means nothing to our law. They remain legally married. And having humiliated him with her affair, she wants him to now perform public relations services for her to suppress the scandal. Wow. That's pretty bold. If you think that you can, your ex-husband, father of your children who you've publicly humiliated, and then you're like, oh, go around and run interference for me and make sure that I don't look bad. That's pretty bold. Democrats that are filling their committee up trying to turn every little trick on Trump and his life, but they've got someone like Omar here, and they don't even say boo about it. The Democrats only care deeply about the sins of other people, and this is exactly the kind of open hypocrisy that could sink the Democrats in 2020. It's amazing to me how somebody who's all holier than thou and says we should cover up, which not going to happen, is out having an adulterous affair with a man who's still married. She's still married at the time, and also has allegations of campaign finance money questionability. This woman needs to be put out. She doesn't have a right to be in Congress. She's absolutely out of control along with the other 3. They've got nothing to contribute, nothing to make the world a better place in their position, in which they do have the opportunity to do that. So they need to just get out because they're ridiculous. They're off the chain as far as being bold and thinking that the world revolves around them. And I want everybody to remember that that's not the case. They're freshmen. Hopefully they've got quite a few people running against them, each one of them, as far as from what I have read. So hopefully they'll be voted out. We're going to take a little break now, and when we come back, I've got a few more things I want to go over with you. So, this is Candace with the Freedom Zone. We'll see you in a moment.
Hello, my name is Chad Watkins. I'm the manager at Larry's Body Shop. We are a family-owned and operated business and have been serving the North Georgia area since 1978. We are located at 1216 Progress Road in LOJ, Georgia. Our shop specializes in collision repair and we work with all major insurance companies. Larry's Body Shop is ICAR Gold, the highest role of training recognized by the collision repair industry. It is estimated that only 10% of collision shops meet these standards. Our shop consists of state-of-the-art equipment such as laser measurement system, down-drive spray booth, spot and MIG welding equipment. All of our paints are mixed on-site so that we can guarantee your paint to match every time. I know that having an accident can be a stressful event. We take pride in making sure our customers are satisfied with the repair of their vehicles. Our waiting area is clean and comfortable with free Wi-Fi and refreshing beverages. So if you're in an accident, stop by and see us at Larry's Body Shop.
Hi, I'm Rhonda the Mattress Lady, and this is my husband Gary, owners of Mattress Overstocked in LJ next to Walmart. And we want to earn your business. From the time you walk in our door to the time we deliver your new mattress to your door, you will see the difference. Our selection and prices are the best in North Georgia, and customer service is our top priority. So y'all come on in and let us help you find the right mattress at the right price. That's Mattress Overstocked in LJ next to Walmart.
In 1981, Reed Nicholson began selling tires out of an old barn in Mineral Bluff. Little did he know that he had just laid the groundwork for the most trusted names in automotive services in the Blue Ridge area. In 1997, Nicholson Tire Center became what it is today, holding the same values of faith, family, and great customer service. 2 locations to serve you, and the Blue Ridge location is currently expanding to offer fast service and the largest U-Haul provider in Georgia. Nicholson Tire Center, Blue Ridge, and Mineral Bluff.
Hello and welcome back to the Freedom Zone. I'm your host Candace, and we're setting the truth free whether you like it or not. I guess everyone knows that Saturday there was another shooting in Texas. It appears that the person who was the shooter had been pulled over. He was a motorist that had been pulled over by a state trooper. He shot the state trooper and then he fled the scene where he began randomly shooting at pedestrians, shoppers, and other motorists. We've got some pictures of some of the pictures of the victims. Cameron Brown is to the left, Mary Granados is in the middle, and Joe Griffith is in on the side. The gunman was killed by the police near a movie theater, but before he was shot, 7 people were fatally killed and injured at least 25. This is just unreal. According to the people that's he jumped. That is. Let me get his name. Oh yeah, Edwin Peregrino, 25. He was killed. He was visiting his parents in Odessa when he was killed. he heard the sound of gunfire and just went outside to see what it was, and he lost his life that way. It's a terrible tragedy. We have Joseph. Let me get the first three that we had up, Josh. Joseph Griffin, or Joe Griffin, who was the one on the far right. He was 40 years old. He was simply stopped in his car at a traffic light with his wife and children when he was shot and killed right in front of them. His family is absolutely, of course, understandably completely broken over it. And I mean, the guy pulled up next to him, murdered him like it was nothing. The lady in the middle, Mary Granados, she was a mail carrier, and he came and he stole her postal vehicle. She was on the phone with her twin sister at the time when this happened, and she said she heard her scream, but she couldn't do anything for her. Cameron Brown, a young man there, he was not a Vietnam vet, an Afghanistan vet, and he was just trying to make a new life for himself. He'd been an employee of Standard Supply and Safety and Supply for over a year, and so he was just shot. He was the kind of guy that would do anything for you. A lot of GoFundMe pages have been started for these people. And like I said, we saw before, we also have Leah Hernandez, 15, who is, she was shot. She was celebrating her, they were picking up, can I get the picture of Leah up there? The picture of Leah, she's sitting on a settee with, it looks like a 20s outfit. Yeah, she was, they were picking up a truck, which they had been saving for, with her brother, and they were walking out of the car dealership when the gunman started randomly shooting. Her brother Nathan wrapped his arms around her, taking a bullet in his right arm, but she was shot. I guess that was the kind of caliber of bullet that would go straight through you, straight through one or two people. The one that might come to mind to me is a 9mm, because it will go through 2 or 3 people. It doesn't have a stopping power. It just keeps going straight through. And as she died, she begged her brother to help her. And now he's devastated because he's not going to see her, ever again. Just a young girl cut down in her prime. Rodolfo Arco was also another victim. He was 57 years old. His father had moved to Las Vegas recently had moved from Las Vegas to Odessa. He owned some super burrito restaurants and was working as a truck driver when he was fatally shot returning to work. I mean, you'd think, you're going to work, you think you're going to be safe, but you're not. I mean, you've got people like that completely off their hinges. And stronger gun laws, it's not going to affect this. It's not going to make this better. Because people that are going to do bad things, they're going to get things. They're going to get them illegally. They're going to get guns off the street. One other victim that I don't have a picture of was Raul Garcia. He was a truck driver who was killed on his way home to be with his kids. And his son said, well, now he'll be a truck driver in heaven, which is really sad for a young kid to have to say that about their father. People that are going to do bad things, they're going to do bad things no matter what kind of laws you make, what kind of background checks you get. And this is a terrible tragedy. It's a terrible tragedy. But the thing is, if you've noticed, if you go back and you look at a lot of these mass shootings, every time there's some sort of scandal, and this was in the previous administration's years, because yes, he did have mass shootings in his administration. Every time there was a scandal, every time the Democrats got in big trouble, they would have some sort of crisis to distract the people from what's going on. I don't know what this person who was the mass shooter's motive was. I don't know. No one's ever going to know. God will know. But we don't know. Obviously, he was out to do some harm. He didn't want to get stopped by the policeman, so who knows what his background's about. But there are factions in this country who want to, first of all, to take away our arms. Ex-President Barack Obama wanted to take away our gun rights and worked very hard for that. It was his intention, that Hillary would take over, and I think, in fact, he was a little surprised that we didn't give up our arms to him during his administration, but he felt like probably Hillary could finish that up for him. An unarmed population is a vulnerable one, and you have to do what people tell you. But there are people that are paying for bad things to happen, people that support groups like Antifa, people that support, in my opinion, those who go out and do these things. One of the people that come to mind that are against the United States, the way we do things, and has a lot of money to spend on causing chaos is George Soros. He hasn't ever been... do we have a picture of George Soros there, Josh? There we go. Yeah, he's from Hungary. He went through the Holocaust. I don't think he was a good guy. He's actually a Jew, but I think he was one that turned in fellow Jews. At least that's the rumor. And some of the things you look up will support that. He uses his money to cause chaos and things to happen here, allegedly. And so we've got people like that. There's other people that are joined in with him on that. His son is also into that. So, I mean, it's there are people that really hate our country and really want to see it go away. They want to erode our rights. They want to erode the rights away that we have, like the First Amendment. As I mentioned in the Straight Pride Parade in Boston this last weekend, they've got a right to say whatever they want. Everybody does. I've got a right to not like it or like it, whichever. I can walk away. I can turn the channel. I can cut the radio off. That's my right. It's just, it's becoming unreal the way people won't let you have your opinion unless you're of a certain section. And this is a man who's financing a lot of that chaos. They named the NRA this week in California a domestic terrorist group. If you go back and look at every one of the shootings, not a single person who was the perpetrator of these mass shootings was an NRA member. So how in bloody hell is they going to be responsible for something that they weren't even involved in? And as I've said before, people who do bad things, they're going to buy their guns on the street. Doesn't matter if you have 500,000 gun laws, they're going to buy their guns on the street and throw it down when they're done because they're criminals. Criminals are going to do illegal things. That's kind of weird, don't you think? That you think you can legislate morality to the point that you're going to stop a criminal. We have crime. We've always had crime. Crime it's forever. It's always been there. There's people who, Cain and Abel. Cain killed his brother. That was the beginning of known crime. So it's not like you're going to stop it with more laws. And calling the NRA a domestic terrorist, of course, I realize California is way out in left field. But what about Antifa? They're for sure a domestic terrorist organization. So, and California declaring the NRA a domestic terrorist organization is crazy, and that's absolutely untrue. I mean, they've been around since like 1871, I believe it was. So it's not like they're a new organization that just came around to start, mass shootings. Because as I said, not a single person that was convinced or convicted or shot that did a mass shooting was an NRA member. NRA members are like law-abiding gun owners. They take care of their weapons. They don't take them out and just start shooting in public. I mean, and most guns, I've passed by gun stores or places where guns were stored. Not one of those guns volunteered to jump up and shoot me by itself, because guns don't kill people. People kill people. And these are people who have some sort of agenda, or maybe they hear voices. I don't know what's their problem. I don't know if they're paid off. I suspect they are paid off, because every time something's going on with, to me, in my opinion, and this is my opinion, so you got to take it like that. Every time there's a Democratic scandal, like right now, Comey is just this far from being indicted. They might not, could be. We have another shooting, and honestly, it gets old, and I'm thinking we're all going to have to go back to the Wild West where everybody packs. If somebody shoots at you, you shoot back, and erode the problem that way, because it's impossible, it seems, to control people that want to get guns illegally or do bad things that they're not supposed to do. We can't legislate morality. It's impossible. Our thoughts and prayers are with these victims. God bless them, and I hope that their families can be comforted in some way in a very bad situation. But the answer is not to legislate morality. The answer is not to try and stop legal, law-abiding gun owners, which is, this basically the campaign is to get rid of our guns. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed the Freedom Zone today, where the truth is set free, and I'm your host, Candace, and I'll see you next week. Thank you for joining us.